Community governance. In the Web3 world, the Decentralized Autonomous Organization (DAO) is an innovative concept built around the community. The success of DAO depends on the value creation of its community. The development and the evaluation of the DAO. Initially, DAO promoted community development through token incentives, similar to the open source community. However, in our DAO, the token is not only a reward but also the key to value creation. The value of DAO. Take Uniswap DAO as an example. In 2023, Uniswap's main source of revenue is transaction fees, which vary according to the risk and stability of different transactions. The standard rate is usually 0.3%, but it varies for more stable and risky trade pairs. Of particular note, Uniswap has topped $2.6 million in just 3 months since the introduction of the new 0.15% rate. Using annual estimates, Uniswap's revenue for the full year is about $940 million. In 2023, Uniswap DAO's treasury is valued at $1.7 billion. This valuation reflects not only the strong financial foundation of the Uniswap DAO organization, but also trust in the market. It also provides funding to achieve its long-term vision and strategic goals. What is DAO community governance? DAO community administrators play a different role from traditional business managers, where their responsibility is to grow and develop with the community members and ensure the common interests of the community. This governance model emphasizes benefit sharing and collective honor rather than individual success or failure. In such a governance structure, regardless of race or color, the emphasis is on the overall commitment and participation of the community. In DAO communities, the right to governance is often linked to the community's contribution and participation. Therefore, we formulated the most basic rights of governance NFT cards, not based on community recommendation. Namely, individuals who pledge more than 2,000 can obtain community governance NFT cards. In addition, the governance voting function of DAO will only be activated when the number of NFT cards under governance reaches 300. At least 300 cards are required to participate in each vote, and the approval vote must exceed 75% to take effect. This mechanism ensures that community administrators are closely linked to the interests of the community because they have optimistic judgment and confidence in the development and prosperity of the community to make property investments. This governance structure reflects a broader social phenomenon where a few minorities hold the majority of resources. The phenomenon is widespread in society and is the basis of many economic and social structures. However, this also raises important questions about equity and equality. Do community members have the opportunity to become part of governance through their own efforts? Does the governance process ensure transparency and impartiality? In the DAO community, the ideal administrator should not only be successful and capable, but also a person of high character and responsibility. They should lead by example, caring not only for their own success, but also for the overall interests of the community. In this governance model, the success of the community is the success of each member. The key to DAO community governance is to maintain the consensus. Community administrators need to make fair, impartial, and transparent decisions to ensure broad recognition and participation of community members. Only through consensus can everyone in the community succeed, including the administrators themselves. Community Governance Elite Card. Eligibility requirement. Stake 2,000 loop to qualify. Rights 1. Average daily return of 0.23% of the total investment amount in Loop Finance. Rights 2. Voting non-community fund governance. Rights 3. Participate in voting on community governance voting and fund use voting. Rights 4. Hold 5 community governance elite cards and can initiate the preliminary examination proposal of community governance. Community governance super card. Number upper limit 2 pieces. 1 piece is owned by the developer. Equity. Be eligible to initiate a community fund application for voting. NFT earnings and benefits. Each NFT will have a financial return of 0.23%. Each NFT card will receive a Nico share of the total daily investment amount of 0.23%. We have designed this revenue to be distributed as dividends based on the performance of the community, and set the distribution method of basic dividend and performance dividend. Basic dividend calculation formula: individual community performance times number of NFT cards, limited to 5 per person, divided by total weight points times 50% of total dividends. Performance dividend calculation formula: the new performance ratio of individuals, community this week divides 50% of the new assessment requirement times basic dividend points divides total performance points times 50% of the total dividend. It should be noted that NFT release of pledge requires 165 days of holding before release. After 15 days after the release, the number of tokens from the pledged NFT can be retrieved. DAO governance discussion and voting. How to make a community proposal. Community proposals are jointly proposed by community members to address problems in community development. Proposal initiation is usually initiated by community leaders holding at least 5 NFTs. This process involves extensive communication and discussion with community members to jointly identify and explore possible problems and solutions. The solicitation phase is open to all community members to pool their wisdom and resources to form a widely supported governance proposal. Voting content and process. 1. Problem collection. Collect and sort out the key issues currently facing the community. 2. Plan discussion. The leaders will have in-depth discussions based on the collective problems and formulate specific governance plans. 3. Soliciting options. Solicit feedback and suggestions on the proposed governance plan from all community members. 4. Option voting. After discussion and feedback, the improved options are formally voted on by community leaders with at least 5 NFT cards. 5. Voting execution. The proposal requires at least 75% of the support votes. And after obtaining the approval of all members of the community, the execution details, including the execution time and responsible person information, will be announced and made public on the community channel. Voting proposal and launch content scope. 1. Community development planning. A vote on the long-term community development goals and strategies. 2. Community support planning. A vote on how to support specific plans for community members or projects. 3. Community incentive program. Voting regarding the establishment or modification of incentive mechanisms to motivate active members of the community. 4. Governance changes. A vote to remove or replace community governance. This process ensures the transparency and fairness of community governance, so that every community members can participate in the decision-making and jointly promote the healthy development of the community. System for the use of community fund development costs. Community fund development policy. The main source of community funds is the initial allocation of 3 million loops, which is reserved to support community development. Fund application and voting process. 1. Initiate an application. Community governance supercard holders can initiate a fund application. The application shall contain the purpose description, the application amount, the address to receive the fund, the application time, and the return receipt information. 2. Voting process. All members of the Community Governance Elite Card NFT are responsible for voting. The support rate needs to exceed 75% to approve the use of the fund. 3. Validity period of voting. The effective duration of voting is 24 hours. 4. Uses of the fund. The right to use the community fund belongs to all the DAO members. The use of the fund includes, but is not limited to, the following aspects. Community incentives. For example, motivate the active participation and loyalty of community members through incentive programs. Operating costs. Used to pay the daily operating costs of the community, such as management, communication, publicity, education, and training of new members. Enhance cohesion and influence. For example, holding events, recruiting new members, and promoting brands. Providing services and products, such as media, tools, education, and consulting services designed to create value and revenue for the community and external users. In our community, the DAO, Decentralized Self-Governing Organization, governance model not only embodies the principle of community-led development, but also makes the community members the main body of decision-making. Because this model encourages broad member discussion and consensus formation, it drives the continued development and prosperity of the community. By governing NFT cards, we not only give significantly contributing community members greater decision-making power, but also reward their participation and contribution, thus ensuring the quality and efficiency of community governance. However, these measures alone are not sufficient. This expansion of the community and the role of community leaders are central to the development of DAO. So our focus is on how to effectively expand the community and achieve continuous benefits to the broad members of the community. As a core force in the community leaders and the creation node jointly maintain the development and growth of the community. Because of the combination of this leadership and the openness and transparency of community funds, we were inspired by Mobius to create the Loop Finance Wealth Management Agreement, which in turn generates more revenue and boosts the value of Loop, strengthening the overall value of the Loop DAO.